We have multiple updates revolving around this Phoenix Suns team as Shams Charania dropped a bombshell of news yesterday referring to Kevin Durant and the possibility of his future staying in Phoenix after some conflicting reports have been coming through these last couple of days. We'll get into all of that. Plus, another player on this Phoenix Suns team is expected to make his return after a long absence. And could this help the Suns get into that right note of once again competing for that play-in? We'll get into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez. I want to apologize for no uploads over the last couple of days. I was sick over these last couple of days, so that's why there was nothing going up. So I hope you guys can understand. And unfortunately, there will be no stream today. I want to make sure I get this video out today before that, but I am busy this afternoon, so there will be no stream going on later. But I do want to let you guys know that I will get you back next week with a stream. We will be back here on the channel getting everything going. But let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack, and I hope you guys are interested into the news that we're going to be breaking down about this Suns team, as we have a lot to break down. And there's been a lot kind of going on with this team over the last couple of days, so I definitely will have some more videos coming out for the future as well. But we saw some things that is, I guess, good to see for some Suns fans, depending on how you view about this. But Bradley Beal is expected to make his return from a left hamstring strain Friday night after at the defending NBA champion Boston Celtics. As Suns coach Mike Budenholzer said after Thursday's practice, he's missed the last 8 games with a hamstring strain, and this is nice for the Suns, obviously losing Kevin Durant with him being out for this road trip. The Suns desperately need some more offense. Booker did his best in that game versus the Bucks by himself, but obviously we need to see more of a pack punch on this offensive side. So hopefully having a guy like Bradley Beal can bring that without Kevin Durant. We also saw Royce O'Neal was a late scratch from Tuesday's loss at Milwaukee with an illness, and he is also expected to be available as well to play in this game. So the Suns will be getting both of those guys back, and that is pretty key. Regardless of how you feel about Bradley Beal on this Suns team, he still is going to be effective being a scorer for this squad, and this Suns team has really worked in duos. We have seen that when Devin and Bradley have been together on the court together. They have been pretty decent in some lineups, offensively being able to carry that load for this Suns team. And we've seen it also with Devin and Kevin in their lineups as well. So I do believe that with this Suns team, it will be nice. If we want to look at Bradley Beal's stats on the season, once again, making $50 million is a no trade clause, isn't living up to, the money he is supposed to be making or the contract that he is given, averaging, 17.3 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. But he is shooting 51% from the field and 40% from three-point range, which is pretty solid. He is obviously a third scorer for this Suns team. There's a lot of complaints about Bradley Beal in this Suns roster, but obviously the fit is just not there with, once again, them having 3 scorers, and they've proven me wrong with being able to have all 3 of these scorers work within this team, but they don't have those other rotation pieces, those high-flying defenders, those lob threats, those defensive presences, those athletic, lanky wings on this team to compensate the offense that they also distribute on that end of the ball to help out on the defensive side in these lineups. So that's where it's been a little bit hindering for the Suns, but with no Durant, hopefully Beal can provide, like I mentioned, that second spark for this Suns team offensively, can really be that pack-a-punch man next to Devin Booker to really help out this Suns squad push into the play-in, because still there is some hope with this Suns team over this last couple stretches of games, even with Durant out, they can still make the play-in, and you got to keep that hope alive regardless of how you feel about this season. I know a lot of Suns fans would at least like to see them make that point and not cut the season short and have Kevin Durant leave on a sour note, so I think that would be a great thing for Phoenix Suns fans as well. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We saw the Suns take on the Celtics not too long ago without Jason Tatum, with them being fully healthy minus Bradley Beal, and got absolutely guttered at home. So hopefully that doesn't happen when they go to Boston and play them with Bradley Beal, but with no Kevin Durant and with Boston being pretty solid, maybe no Jaylen Brown, it is going to be a tough competition for Phoenix to win that game. That's for sure. But let's get into some more talking about this Phoenix Suns team. What you clicked the video on for it. Is this the end? As we saw some updates revolving around Kevin Durant and his future with this Suns team over these last couple of days. And I'm sorry, like I mentioned, I didn't get any videos out on this because I was sick. But there were some updates around Devin Booker and this Suns team as well, which we definitely will cover in future videos for this Suns channel. But we did see yesterday that Suns and Kevin Durant are expected to work on a trade out of Phoenix this summer, and this was reported by Shams Charania. Kevin Durant has interest in the Knicks, the Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Spurs, and Heat, at this time past the trade deadline, and this is something to definitely be keeping an eye on. But it is a little bit weird as we saw some conflicting reports. Remember how I mentioned a little bit ago just how we saw some Devin Booker reports about how he wanted to stay in Phoenix. The team was going to compete. This team was going to win. Well, we also saw in those reports as well from Bleacher Report that per the Ringer's Logan Murdoch that Durant is open potentially to remaining with the Phoenix Suns, and he'll be eligible to sign a 2-year, $122 million extension this summer. That was, reported just about 2 days ago, and then was followed up by this just yesterday. So a little bit, like I said, of some scariness. But as we all know with Durant, he is on a long-term contract, but is coming up with the final year left on his deal, and this is a little bit concerning for a lot of the Suns front office and for the direction of this team. As we all know, they're in the second apron with this roster, and they are not doing great as they are currently 35-41, currently sitting 11th in the Western Conference. And with this contract and with the Suns being in the second apron, if Durant is unhappy and they want to get out of these second apron restrictions and without being able to move Bradley Beal potentially, they may have to move off Kevin Durant. And this is something that we've alluded to, something that I don't want to happen, as I obviously want Durant to stay on this team, as Durant and Devin Booker have been able to show that they can work together, and with the right roster and with the right rotations around this team, they could be successful in the Western Conference. This may be the only out for Phoenix at this moment. Now, obviously, with these conflicting reports, it's not 100% set on him being traded or 100% him, set on staying. I truly do believe that there is some moving room for either party to kind of get what they want here. Obviously, the other teams trying to pray Kevin Durant away from the Suns, trying to get him on one of their teams to help them win a championship and help his legacy. But the Suns, I think, also have a way this offseason to be able to persuade Kevin Durant by moving off of Bradley Beal and really putting the right players around him and Devin Booker in this team. Maybe getting rid of the coach once again and Mike Budenholzer, maybe getting rid of this front office and James Jones and stuff like that to really shape this team around the right direction could convince Durant to want to stay in Phoenix, because before this trade deadline, he did not want to leave, and that was the thing. And like we said, we could see Durant going back and signing this extension, right? He's on a 1-year deal at this moment coming into next season, and that's why he's a little bit more tradable, as the Suns don't want to lose him entirely for nothing or have his trade value dip off all the way to the bottom here in the middle of the season. So that's why I think the Suns will make a decision in the offseason. They'll approach Kevin Durant about an extension once again, similar to they did last season. Last year, obviously, Durant did not want to sign that extension because he didn't know what Phoenix was going to do ultimately at the deadline and to reshape this roster, kind of hinting at potentially moving off Bradley Beal in my eyes. And unfortunately, that did not happen, in which he is now once again having to deal with that decision making coming into this summer. Now, I do believe the Suns will look to move off Bradley Beal, will look to try to, kind of get that situation squared away first before they try to trade away Kevin Durant. And that's something that I would do if I were the Phoenix Suns. But if not, if that's the case that they ultimately run into, is that they have to trade Kevin Durant, then they ultimately will do so and be forced to doing it. And I will not be happy about that. But we'll have to kind of get into all of that as it kind of gets closer and closer to the end of the season. As we see with Durant being out these next couple of games with this road trip, it will be tough for the Phoenix Suns to string along some wins. But who knows? Maybe they get a surprise win versus this Boston Celtics team. Maybe they go on a little bit of a win streak, taking down New York and San Antonio in the future, and string a couple wins along to really compete themselves and put them in a spot to be in the play-in. And then when Durant comes back from injury, they actually make the playoffs. And in that case, Durant says, you know what? I actually can work with this team. I can actually stay and be here. But who knows at that point? That is all up to discussion, all up to debate on how the Suns team can perform in this, last couple stretch here of the regular season. So we'll have to get into all of that and evaluate it as it kind of comes down for us. But let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section, what you ultimately think. I don't want Durant to leave. I want him to stay. I want him to be a part with this Suns team because him and Devin Booker can work. And I do believe that with both of those $50 million contracts and some quality rotational players, this Suns team can succeed. But who knows? We may see Durant ultimately end up on one of these teams that he is interested in, like the Knicks, Timberwolves, Rockets, Spurs, Heat, post this into this free agency, and we might have to get some young players and do a little bit of a reset or a retool. Ultimately, I would not be happy with Durant leaving, but that's the case. Then that's the case, unfortunately, for us Suns fans. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. How you guys feel Bradley Beal coming back as well? Do you think he'll make an impact? And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.